Hey you guys, so I've had a couple of guys ask me to just explain and show how I set idling on a 38 DGAS, because now that's got two idle screws, and I've dotted some stuff down before you even start to adjust the idle. Make sure your spark timing is right, make sure you've got no air leaks. I'll show you an air leak that I had on my own vehicle. Make sure you've got no air leaks, not just around the manifold only, but also on your carby shaft. If you've got leak on your carby shaft, you've got no chance of setting it, and you'll always have a little bit of a flat spot. Make sure your engine is run warm, it's at working temperature, otherwise you're going to have to adjust for the choke fast idle as well. I'll show you that quickly. You know, I don't want to say do a compression test, but do a compression test. Make sure your compression is what it should be, or if it's not what it should be, that they're all at least equal. Otherwise you'll never get a smooth idle. And then most important, make sure you've got the correct jetsy. If you don't have the correct idle jets for your application, you also have no chance of setting the idle. Anyway, I've got a 38 DGAS on my little 1400 at the moment, and I'll adjust idling there just quickly. But I want to show you a couple of things that you need to look out for, and also the fast idle on the automatic chokes. So this is a copy of the 38 DGAS. A couple of tricks I want to show you on it, otherwise I'll have to take the one off my van. But notice that little link. That little link is part of your fast idle system. You'll see the butterflies is now closed. So when you accelerate, it holds your throttle open, and there's a adjuster screw right over there. There's an adjuster screw right over there. I think I must just get a flashlight to get a better view there. Give me a sec. So okay, imagine you've got electric choke on here, or a water choke on here. This will obviously, the bimetal inside here will take it off choke or on choke, just like you see over there. But I think the important thing to know is inside there's that adjuster screw and that little cam. I'm just going to try and hold the flashlight on my shoulder so that you can see. So if it's on choke, that little adjuster there stays on that little cam. There, it stays on that little cam. And when it's off choke, like that is now away from that little cam. So that's your fast idle cam. So when you adjust your idling, make sure your choke is open fully and you're not on fast idle, because that's the position where you adjust your fast idle. That cam has got a bit of a slant, and there it's away all the way. So that's quite important. It's also important to look at the quality of these gears. You can see these two have absolutely no play on them. They're not worn. There's no play between the two butterflies, and if there is, you've got a problem. You can adjust it out, but I mean, if you look at this one, just look at how bad these gears are. So it's extremely worn over here, but further up there it's not worn. Look at that side as well. So you're gonna the mesh on these gears are not gonna work when you try and adjust it. So if your carbs gears look like this one, it's better you replace them. They are available aftermarket, but you need to make sure you've got no play on those gears. Or if there's ease a little bit, you can adjust it out, but if it's as much as these, no, you can't. So on the 38 DGAS, it's got this set of gears here, and the return spring for the carby is on that choke, and you pull the accelerator on this one. So you can, with that adjuster screw, you've got to make sure that both butterflies are closed all the way. So you remove the air speed screw, which sits over there, because there's a little cam, that little cam pushes against it, so that you know that butterfly is closed all the way, and you close that one all the way, and then once that's done, you lock that screw all the way, so that now your two butterflies operate and close 100% the same. It's also worth holding it up in the air just to make sure that when they close, that they're all both perfectly closed. Very important for the 38 DGAS. that you do that. Now once you've done that, you can go to the next step. So the next thing you have to do is just to get this thing to start is idle speed screw. You can see there it doesn't touch that little cam over there. Doesn't touch that cam yet, but as we turn it, it's now starting to open both butterflies. And I give it 2 turns or so, 2.5 turns. Doesn't matter, you're going to turn it back anyway. You just want to get a fast idle out of it. You just want the vehicle to be able to start. The next thing you're going to do is take your both air mixture screws, turn them in all the way, but don't force it till it stops, and then turn it half, 1, 1.5, 2, and maybe 2.5 turns. And you do that on both. You're probably going to turn that back about a turn, but you want to do that to give it a reach idle so you know it'll start. And you know it's going to be too rich, so you're probably going to turn that back 1 turn or 1.5 turns till you get the sweet spot. But that's the starting point. So that's the starting point, and you do that with both. So your idle speed is now too high, and your idle mixture is too rich, so you know it'll start. So on the vehicle, you've got to make sure that you've got slack on your cable. So turn your idle speed back and make sure that that'll return all the way, and then that there's still slack on your cable. Otherwise you're going to have a problem. And now we need this vehicle to start, so we'll turn that in till it touches and give it maybe a turn and a half or something like that, just so we know it'll start. We know it'll fire up. Also make sure that your vacuum advance pipe is connected and it doesn't leak, and your distributor diaphragm, nothing wrong with it. And like on this one, where you don't have the choke on, make sure that you've got that little hole there blocked off. Let me try and show you there. That little hole there, you've got to block that hole off, otherwise you're going to suck air there. That's for the choke. So just make sure that's blocked off. So okay, I started it and I've let it warm up, and it's nice working temperature, and you can hear it idling way too high. So now we're simply going to just turn that back. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just turn this idle speed screw. I've turned it back, both of them, about a turn. So from all the way in, it's now about a turn and a half out. I'm going to turn it in so you can hear what it does. See, now it's starting to fall because I'm not giving it enough fuel. So I'm going to turn it out. You can hear it picked up again a little bit. And I'm going to do the same with the other side. I'm going to turn it in. That's also about now a turn and a half. I've turned it in already. I'm going to turn it in. And immediately you'll hear it fall. You should actually do that with your ref counter, to make sure that you adjust both of them the same. So that when you turn that in and it drops, certain RPM, turn it back till the same RPM. So once you've reached there where we are now, switch the motor off and then turn both idle screws in till it seats, and counting the turns. So and you want to balance those two out, because remember, we've adjusted the butterflies. We made sure that the butterflies were exactly the same. We've checked in the air. There's no leaks. I'll show you in a sec. We've gotten to where we are idling happy, but we want to make sure that there's both a same amount of fuel going through the carbies on idle on both chokes. So then you turn the one in, let's say it's a turn and a half, and the other one is maybe a turn, then you balance the two out so that both is out a turn and a quarter, and a turn and a quarter, so that we balance it out that way. and start it again and check out idles. I'm going to do that now. So this one is half, 1, and about a quarter. So we'll turn it out the same. That's the quarter, that's the half, and that's the 1. And we need to do the same with the other side. The other side is going to be a bit tricky because my screwdriver doesn't fit in there, so I'm going to do it by hand. And I'm not going to record it because I'll probably struggle. I'm going to do that quickly. So both are out the same. As you can see, the motor is jerking a little bit, it's struggling a little bit. So I'm going to give each one a quarter turn extra. You can see it sounds better already. And the same on that side, sounds much better already. Now we just need to lower the idle speed, so because we're giving it a bit more fuel. And there we go. So remember I told you about you need to look for air leaks and stuff. And this is the adapter that's been on my vehicle for a very long time. And I didn't have lock washers below the nuts, and it actually kept on coming loose. Every couple of months I've had to take the carby off and tighten it. And I never bothered to look at the gasket. And you can see for a long time that gasket there didn't seal, because it was actually, look at that, it was actually sucked in all the way at some point, sucking air. Can you see there? So it's so easy. Look at the marks over there as well. So it's so easy to suck in air, and you don't even know it. And then you're gonna struggle to set your idle. I've now got a different adapter on there. Nothing wrong with this one. Different adapter on there. This one I'll just give it a nice clean up and then put it back on my vehicle. So it's so important to look for that, to look for leaks anyway. So I forgot to mention, make sure both your idle jets are the same size. The two that's currently in there are 245s, and with the 245s it idles best at about 1.5 turns out on both mixture screws, but it will be different on your vehicle and it will be different in your application. So don't get stuck on that, please. You need to adjust to where it's happy. When I do idling adjustment, it's always good after each adjustment that you just rev up the engine a little bit, take it to 2000 RPM or so, let it run there for a couple of seconds just to burn it clean. Don't rev it up, just so that it burns clean, and then leave it to idle again. If you rev it up and it hangs, then your idling is usually a bit lean. If you let it idle for a little while and it starts stuttering, your idling is usually a little bit too rich. When I build a car for a person and I let it idle for a couple of minutes, and you know, you just hear that it idles and it's happy, and it doesn't start running away, and it doesn't start stuttering, because when it stutters usually too rich, like I said. Anyway guys, I hope that helps someone out there. Be safe.